site. So at this point what you do is put in your title, so I'll put my article title. So I'm just going to copy that. In alias we have the same thing. You then select what section this is going to be published in. I'm just going to select About Us, and then you select the category, which is already selected because there's only one category in the About Us section. You then select above there whether or not it's published. We're going to leave it as yes, and then at this point below we've got the description for our article. Now within this area where we've got the description, or the area for you to add your text for your page, this is referred to as the what you see is what you get, or the rich text editor part of the site. Now when adding articles, this is where you can then format your text, and so what I'm going to do is just write a few bits of text here. Hello, this is Leon giving a demo of using Joomla 1.5. So what I'm going to do, if I just correct my spelling, this is Leon, there we are. So I'm just going to paste this text over and over just so it looks like a paragraph, and then I'm going to do it all over again just so you can kind of get an idea of how you can build your pages. So once you've got your text in your page, you're then able to edit your text just as you would if you're using any word processor like Microsoft Word or OpenOffice documents. If we select bold, we can then make sure our text is bold. If we wanted to align our text to the right, we could then do that. We could align it to center, and if I just select that part there, we can then underline parts of our text, and if I move this down, we can create a bullet list if you wanted to. So there's a number of formatting options you do have. Now what I will say is that in Joomla it comes with a number of different rich text editors that you have out of the box available for Joomla. The default one that comes with Joomla when you first install it is TinyMCE. In this particular example I'm using Joomla JC, which is Joomla Content Editor. It's my preferred rich text editor for Joomla because it comes with nice features and allows you to do a number of things, especially if you're editing fairly heavily in your website and you want some useful features. Now we've edited the text over here, underlined, bulleted, and at this point we then, if we've finished editing, what we can do is either press save or apply. Now I'll just give you the example of why we've got these two buttons. Apply would save my article but allow me to stay on this page continuing to edit. Save would save this article but return me to the list of already saved articles in the article manager. So if I press apply, what this will do is save it but allow me to continue editing this particular article. So there we go. So I'm here, but as you can see at the top it says successfully saved changes to article. Now this is good if you're adding text to your website on the fly, and you don't want to be logged out of your site because of inactivity. Joomla tends to log people out after about 10 minutes, so it's good to use the apply button if you're adding text live to your website as you're going along. So the next step, if I can just flip back to the presentation, is then to look at uploading or inserting images into your pages. So we're just going to jump back in again. So on the JC editor we've got this insert edit image icon here with a little tree on. So if I click on that, what this allows me to do is to insert images into this article. So as you see, it loads up the pop-up, and what it will do is load here folders on the left and files in the middle. So what it will do is show me all of the previously loaded images on my server. So as you can see, this nice little icon here, I've just clicked on the icon in this middle column here and it's giving me a preview on the right. So if I wanted to insert this into my page, what I would then do is click on insert. So if I do that, there we are. We've got this icon here over on the left inserted into my page, and to make sure that it's saved I would then need to press apply. So I've clicked on apply, so it'll bring me back so I can continue editing. If I right click on the image, we've then got some options which will allow me to then format this image. So if I go back to insert edit image, I can then continue with this particular image. What I'd like to do, if I just find that icon again, yeah. As you'll see, as I click on the image, it starts to load up the properties of the file. Here we can edit the alternate text, and if you wanted to put in some form of descriptive text here, you could do so. You could put, I don't know, for this example, we'll just call it image icon. You can change the size of the image if you wish to and keep the proportions. You can set the alignment, so if I wanted to align this image to the right, as you can see in the preview box here on the right, it gives you an example of how your text will then wrap around your image. You can then set the margin if you wanted a little bit of space around your image, so it moves the text away from it slightly. So if I click 5 and then hit enter, it will give me a margin of 5 all the way around my image. And then you can also set it so you can have a border if you like. I tend to not use borders on my images, but you're more than welcome to give that a try. Once you've done that, you just click on insert, and there we are. So we've got this image over here inserted into our page. So right now, so we've got two images. What I'd like to do, I'm just going to get rid of this one here, and we're going to continue editing with this one on the right. So again, right click on your image and then select insert edit image. We'll load up the image manager pop-up again. So we're back into this particular image. Now currently I've been looking at images that are already on the server. If your image isn't on the server, what you can do is then click on this upload icon here, which will allow us to upload an image. So I've clicked on that. We've got the upload pop-up window open. If we click on add, we can then add an image. And so if I then find an image for us to use, I'm just going to jump between a few files. If I can find this picture here of my son, so I'm just going to upload a picture of Ruben. So the upload's done. I've clicked on close, and if I just check through now, let me just double check and make sure that uploaded. Right, so upload, there we are. So upload Ruben Street, and just click on this arrow here to the right, just so we can scroll through all of the images that are on the server. Here we are. So Ruben, so there you can see the image that I've uploaded. Now I've clicked on it, it's given me a preview here, and it's also loaded all of the default sizes and so on. If I click on update, it should then load it into my page. As you can see, it's done successfully there. So this is Ruben, aged around about 1 year old. So there we have a nice image ready in our page. So what I'd like to do is click on apply so I can save my progress, and it brings us back. Now if you weren't too happy with the image, what you could then do is resize your image down, and as you'll see, it'll start to bring the image size down if I click on the control icons here around it and adjust it to the size that I need it. So there we are. So if you have a play around with the image size, and you can get your images to the size that you need. Now I'm just going to hit apply and then jump back into the presentation. So when you're uploading images, best practice, try to upload images that are already reduced in file size, because there's nothing more annoying than going onto a website that has slow loading images because they're so huge when they were originally uploaded. And what tends to happen is people will upload massive 3 megabyte files that they've taken on their 12 megapixel cameras, not realizing that these images should be reduced down in some form of image editing program before you upload them to your website. There's a few programs on the market that you can use to resize images, like Photoshop or GIMP, which is a free open source image editing program. So look out for that. try and keep images to around about 600 pixels in width. That's generally more than enough for most pictures to be viewed in a good enough resolution or detail. If you need pictures that are in higher resolution because your site demands it, then you're more than welcome to have bigger images. But generally, I tend to recommend people keep their images around about 600 pixels in width. The height, just leave that proportional so that your images don't look skewed. Right.